everyone. It's Aaron Lowe with Master the Voice. Today is kind of a topic more about using your speaking voice in a natural way and not modifying a speaking pitch to accommodate a singing teacher. We have a history of cases that come to me that will say, well, my teacher says I'm supposed to talk like a soprano. And so they come in and they're like, hi, how are you? I'm speaking like a soprano. I'm like, that's airy and elevated tension in the larynx. We're not speaking to a label, we're speaking to a resonant vibration of our sinus and our skull and our face, our vibration zone. It's part of our instrument. And the vocal cords just make a vibration sound. That vibration sound doesn't develop until it resonates into the mouth and the back of the skull into the front of the face. It's got to develop into the front of the skull so that when you're stuffy and you have a stuffed up nose, then you're speaking down in your throat because you've got no sinuses left in your system because they're all plugged. When you're speaking from a more of an accent that has twang, it's like, hi, how are you? It can be a more nasal placement. That's all differences in resonance of the voice. But when we think of pitch, I can see a female voice that comes to me and says, well, I have to speak lower because I belt and I'm a power voice. But then you're creating a tension pattern in your voice that we call anterior-posterior tension. You squeeze your voice from front to back. Versus, hi, how are you? I'm speaking higher. Oh, why? Why do that? That's not good. That's lateral compression, lifting the larynx, and then you end up with an elevated larynx and fatigue. Both will cause fatigue. Both will cause loss of range and a fight with the speaking voice and the singing voice then. But in both males and females, we look at a male voice coming in like, I'd like to speak lower, please. No, not really, no. We don't want you to. We don't want you to try to have bigger feet. If I have a size 12 feet and I come in and go, I'd like a size 6 foot, please. No, you can't have it anymore. You outgrew that. And I'd like a size 15 foot. Can I wear a size 15 shoe? No, you can't. You can't do that. So it's size based. Your vocal cord has a size to it. And then there's the size of my mouth and my skull. That's a size as well. You can't just make this up. So speaking with a healthy resonance is one way to save your voice, to reserve or preserve your voice for use when you want to sing high, when you want to sing low. And actors can do this. They're on stage. They're in an acting performance on camera, speaking lower than they should. Okay, that's a paid job. That's something that they don't do when they go home. And I think that a lot of patients that have done this have had to modify their life around speaking and then getting tired. So like, well, I speak lower because I want to hear that. It's got a short-lived distance to it, so you can't speak like that for too long before wanting to then reset the voice and do the exercises to bring out that tension. So we do modify voice sometimes. We modify it in transgender speech sometimes. We modify it when we have to act or do comedic work or to do voices for cartoon. So that's all part of it. Like we can, hi everybody, you talk like that. But your talking is to then get paid. You're speaking in that way to get a paycheck, and that's then create the voice exercises to put it in and then do cool downs and exercises to take it out. So that's like doing something like being a running back. You don't have to run to the grocery store. You just walk to the grocery store and walk out. You're not dodging people in the grocery store. That's all paid work. So you're in a sense of taking care of your legs and your hips and your joints and your feet. You're not able to over abuse those. We don't want to allow people to say you should speak higher because you can sing high. Some people have very big vocal cords that gives them a slightly lower fundamental frequency in their speaking voice. They sing high, but they have kind of a heavier chord and a belty high soprano voice, which might make the teacher think that if they're speaking in a mezzo voice, that that's too low. don't modify pitch. We don't tell someone to speak higher or lower. We try to find the resonance of their voice in the middle of their head. And when it feels easy and vibratory, that's your pitch. It's tips on speaking frequency, and don't modify it just because someone told you to modify it. Find your true speaking fundamental frequency, and it'll save your voice. We'll talk more about this later, and anything you want to comment, just leave comments below, and we'll see what we can do to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, everyone.